So in recent weeks, alongside Bruno Fernandes and maybe also Dalot and Yoro as well, I think Joshua Zirkzee has been one of our best players. However, when watching United and Zirkzee, I can't help but feel there's something missing. And so in this video, I'm going to be breaking down why I think Zirkzee might be being held back by Amorim's system, but also how Amorim can adapt his system for the rest of the season and going into next season in order to get the best out of Zirkzee. So what is the tactical issue? Well, I think it's that United don't have enough pace around Zirkzee in order to suit his style of play. And this was evident against Newcastle, as there were multiple examples of Zirkzee picking up the ball, doing really well to not just hold on to possession, but also carry the ball forward himself. But there is just a complete lack of runners ahead of him, which I think is essential if you are going to use Zirkzee as the centre forward. The issue is partly tactical, but also partly personnel. Apart from Garnacho, United don't really have any athletic runners who can make movements ahead of Zirkzee's deeper movement when he drops off to link play, with this next example that I'm going to show you showcasing it perfectly. But before I come on to that, if you want to pick up any cheap, good quality football jerseys, go over to jerseyfifa.co. They've got a variety of different current season and retro jerseys, including this David Beckham PSG 2012-2013 shirt from when Ancelotti was there, when David Beckham went on loan for the second half of the season. They've also got this Neymar Barcelona shirt from the 2016-2017 season, which was arguably his best campaign in a Barcelona shirt and the year before he went to PSG. You can use code Atlantis at checkout to get a 10% discount, so I'll leave it linked in the description and in the comment section below. So as Zirkzee receives the ball here, he does really well to hold off Kieran Trippier, not just to get the ball under control, but also to use his body to get between Trippier and the ball, and then turn him. And you can see here that as Zirkzee turns with the ball and is about to play this forward pass, Christian Eriksen is the player who's making a run from deep in the midfield line, looking to break between Jacob Murphy and Fabian Schär on United's left-hand side. And Zirkzee plays a fantastic left-footed pass as the ball is bouncing, splitting Trippier and Schär. But it's not just the direction of the pass that is so impressive, but also the backspin that Zirkzee puts on the ball, which means that the ball holds up as it bypasses Schär, falling perfectly for Eriksen to run onto it. However, the issue is that Eriksen is not just a player who isn't fast, but he might be one of the slowest players in the league. And so even though Zirkzee's through ball is elite, Eriksen just doesn't have the pace to get onto it, and Murphy sweeps up, meaning that United don't even get the opportunity to race through on goal. If you put someone like Manu Kone, Edison, Joe Bellingham, whoever it is, someone with even a decent level of pace in that position making a run from deep in midfield, they most likely get onto this ball, and worst case scenario they run through into the final third, and a better case scenario they actually get into a 1v1 shooting position, with Zirkzee getting a key pass or maybe even an assist. Now Amorim isn't totally to blame, as United's depleted squad doesn't give him too many options. However, the decision to select Eriksen at all for the Newcastle game is rather baffling to me, especially when you have Sekou Kone waiting in the wings. Eriksen's leaving in the summer anyway, so surely it's better to use Kone and give him some game time. I mean, it's not like we're picking up results with Eriksen either. If anything, we look worse with him in the side. Mason Mount would be perfect to play from the right side as the interior forward, being exactly the type of player who can make runs ahead of Zirkzee, but of course he can't seem to stay fit for more than 4 or 5 games. But also the system doesn't help, or should I say the personnel and individual responsibilities that Amorim has in the system. I think the best system for Zirkzee is probably a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3, which was a system that was used under Thiago Motta at Bologna, and the reason for this is that with a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, this just gives you an extra player in advanced positions, giving you more runners ahead of Zirkzee through the centre of the pitch than we would often see with Bologna. However, this doesn't mean that Amorim has to switch to a back 4 system in order to get the best out of Zirkzee. Instead, he just needs to be less conservative with his player selection and give players greater freedom to push further forward in possession. See, currently if you look at Amorim's player selection, you can see a clear issue. He uses a back 3 where the wide centre backs rarely push forward to join the attack, whilst also using 2 natural fullbacks in Dalot, Dorgu or Amas in the game against Newcastle at wing-back, with Ugarte and usually Casemiro in a double pivot, and so United have a defensive midfield line without any forward running threats to move ahead of Zirkzee. Garnacho's the only player providing the movement ahead of Zirkzee, and when he's released in behind, his decision making often leads to United not even getting a shot on goal. If Amorim wants to use 2 destructive ball winners like Ugarte and Casemiro in a midfield double pivot, he has to at least give Mazraoui as the right-sided centre-back greater freedom to push ahead and play more as a natural fullback in possession, or at least experiment with using someone like Akonki as a left-sided centre-back who has the athleticism to burst ahead of play. United need forward runners through the centre from central midfield, which is why I picked out Manu Kone as a central midfield option for United in the summer, because of his ability to cover ground athletically in a way that neither Ugarte or Casemiro can provide for the attack. But ideally, I think if you are using Zirkzee as a centre forward, you need to use two inside forwards in the style of Mane and Salah either side of him, as if you use players like Eriksen or Bruno on one of the sides, they are both players who, like Zirkzee, want to drop off and receive the ball to feet between the lines. And this is why I suggested Osimhen and Cunha as options for United to sign in the summer, as both would provide the pace in behind the back line that United's attack desperately needs. And even without the signing of Osimhen, I think Cunha is perfect for Zirkzee, as he can start deeper between the lines, with Zirkzee starting higher up, and then when Zirkzee drops off and drags the centre-back out of the back line, Cunha can then make a run from deep, into the space ahead created by Zirkzee's deeper movement. Zirkzee should be the point of the attack, from where United can use him to link play, but he isn't going to be the player to run in behind the back line, and so in order to compensate for this, you need more than one player who can make these forward runs from central positions, either in those two interior forward roles, a midfield double pivot, or from one of the wide centre-back positions. So let me know what you think of Zirkzee and Amorim's system. If you want to check out any cheap, good quality football jerseys, go over to Jersey FIFA. You can use code Atlantis at checkout to get a 10% discount. It'll be linked in the description and comment section below. And if you want to check out any of my articles or the in-game Instagram group chat on my Patreon, as well as my Who Manchester United Should Sign video, I'll leave both of those linked on the end screen now.